Hi, my name is Keri Barnum, and I am the Executive Director of New Shelves Books. We are here today for Free Advice Friday, which is our hour every Friday to meet with other authors, publishers, marketing professionals, to learn more about our industry, to talk about our questions and get things answered so that we can all grow together. And so we are going to get started with actually a question for anyone who's watching live, because one of our questions is about getting book reviews. So I would love in the chat if everyone who's actually on live would tell me if getting reviews was hard for them, if it was easy. Is reviews something that you struggle with? And I'm going to bet that pretty much everyone's going to say yes, they're difficult to get, David says. And it's hard. People don't think, they think, wow, I mean, I've got hundreds of friends on my Facebook list. So it's going to be so easy to get reviews. I did a Kickstarter, so it's going to be easy to get reviews because I had tons of people back me. And reviews is actually one of the hardest and most time-consuming things that an author can do because it takes time for people. But also, as a follow-up question, my friends, I would love to know, when's the last time you left a review? And if most of us are honest, it may have been a while. And so what I always ask authors when they're really saying, I'm not getting reviews, I ask, when's the last time you left a review? Because you want reviews, but are you doing your part for the writing community to be a part of getting reviews? And most of the times, it's a few months ago, I talked to 2 authors yesterday that said they'd never left a book review. And so as we talk about reviews and we talk about getting reviews, which is important, and the truth is it's in the follow-up. It's asking people, it's guiding them, it's making it easy for them and giving them, easy ways. Here's a screenshot of how you do it. If you answer these 3 questions and put them together, you've got a review. There are a lot of ways to help encourage people to leave reviews on your books, but also remember to go out and do your part and leave reviews. Because if the entire writing community started leaving reviews every time they read them, or if they went out and started purposely looking for books that they could review, then you know what? We would all have reviews on our books. It would be amazing. And we'd have great stories to read. So I think that it's super important that we get out and do what we're asking. And David's saying, I don't know what to write. It's like a deer in headlights. Totally. I get it. Answer 3 questions. Did you like the book? What was your favorite part? Would you recommend it? Done. Easy. It doesn't have to be long. I loved this book. I enjoyed reading about the characters. The plot was twisty and I was surprised by the ending. Definitely recommended. Done. That's an amazing review. No one would be upset about that. So it's not hard. Of course you can go into more depth and things like that, but you don't have to. So my challenge to all of you is to go find a book and go review it. If you've already read it, great, go review it. Go review it on Amazon. You can review it on Goodreads. You can even go to the author's Facebook page or their Twitter and tweet something short and tag them. All of those things, they help people. And you know what? It's going to help you build your relationships and your rapport. I know someone, I actually worked with someone who got blurbs from big authors, name recognized, Agatha Award nominated and winning, bigger name authors. And do you know how he got them? Because he had been reading and reviewing their books for a really long time. And so when he asked them, they recognized that he was someone who had helped to lift them up, and they were more willing to give their time. Not just one, he got 2. And so I think, again, it's so important, not that that's going to happen to everybody, let's be honest, but I think it's important that we realize that what we put out is what we get in a lot of the time. So before you think about being too frustrated about reviews, think about the last time you left a review, and then maybe go leave a couple. Go find some books in your genre that are indie authors and leave a review, and then reach out to them on Twitter or Facebook or email and say, hey, read your book, I loved it, I just left a review. It's not asking for a return review, but it's still a great practice to have. I know that we are so guilty of it. Even me, I actually cannot leave reviews in a lot of places because my email is too tied to the publishing industry, and they get bounced back a lot. But my husband can, and so when he leaves books, or when he reads books, I try to encourage him, or let's be honest, I'm like, did you like this book? Okay, I'm writing a review for you. Is this what you thought? So keep that in mind. Next time that you get frustrated by reviews, when you feel like giving up, go do what you want other people to do, and then remind people, reach out to people. It's absolutely the best thing you can do for yourself. Let's see. All right, how do I apply? If you would like to work with New Shelves, we would love to talk to you. Please just go to newshelves.com. There's a contact us button, and you can contact us that way, or you can email info@newshelves.com, and we will get back to you with next steps so that we can chat about your book. Let's see. Sorry, I'm reading reviews, or I'm reading responses about reviews, and you guys are hilarious. All right. Here's a good question. I'd like to enter a few awards with national recognition. Ideas, is it costly? It can be costly. I think the important thing is you need to go research awards, and there are tons of them. There are sites that have like lists of awards. I highly recommend going to the Ally website, which is the Alliance of Independent Authors, and you can go there and they have like a watchdog site with awards. If you're really looking for big awards, go research your genre. Biggest awards in romance, biggest awards in women fiction. For mystery, like the pinnacle is kind of the Mary Higgins Clark Award and the Agatha Awards. So go find where your book fits and then go see how much it costs. Some of them are free, some of them do have fees. The most important thing is to rank which ones are most important to you, set your budget, and that's what you do. If you really, really, really want to go for this big award, but it's going to take up your whole budget, well, then you have to decide. Do you really want to try for that big award, or do you want to try for 2 or 3 awards that are a little bit lower on, you know, the recognition scale, but you can apply and maybe you have a better chance of them. It's all about weighing your options, but definitely set a budget. I've seen too many authors say, well, I applied for this award and then this award and then this one. Guys, there are hundreds of awards. So if it's only $25, but then you go and apply for 100 awards, that's $2,500, and that certainly adds up. So set a budget for yourself. Don't go willy-nilly. Make sure, I sounded like a grandma right there, willy-nilly. Make sure that you are prioritizing and choosing the awards you want to go after, not just applying for every award you find. All right, I did draft to digital and my book is up everywhere except for Amazon. Is this normal? So if you put your book up on draft to digital, unless you specifically chose Amazon distribution, then it goes everywhere, pretty much everywhere but Amazon. Typically, authors will upload to KDP, which is Amazon's publishing platform, for your Kindle book up on Amazon. When you're doing your print book, same thing. Most people will put their print book directly on KDP for print, so that you can go directly from KDP to Amazon. That's how you have the most control, make the most royalty, and have perks like their advertising features on Amazon. And then Ingram Spark for your print books outside of Amazon for wholesale and Ingram, bookstores, libraries, all of that. Oh, that's so sad. I was banned from leaving reviews. Amazon doesn't recognize. Nope. This is sad, but my husband and I, our email addresses are so, most of our accounts even, because we have had all of my accounts, most of them are actually in my business email. I have a lot of things in that, whereas my husband's is from his email that he started when when AOL and AIM were new. So most of the time, no, they don't. But also, typically my policy is I don't ever leave reviews for people that I know or for people I work with, just because there's an ethical barrier for me with some of those things when I work with people. And also it can get me banned and things like that. How to get around the ban? I think that's very hard. Once your account has kind of been banned, they don't usually pull that back. If you've got someone else in your family, you can, but really you can't. But what you can do, it may ban you on Amazon, but that's not keeping you from writing a review on Barnes & Noble, on Goodreads, on BookBub, on social media. There's still a lot of places you can leave reviews, but once Amazon kind of flags your account, you're kind of stuck with it. I don't think I've ever heard of that being repealed and then them removing it later. Let's see. Is Amazon advertising more important than being with Baker and Taylor? Depends on your book. I wouldn't say that one is more important than the other, Bobby. I would say that they are important in different ways. Having your ebook available for Baker and Taylor is super important if you'd like to get into the library system through Overdrive. The newest American Library Association yearly report just came out, and they're reporting, no surprise, that ebook lending from libraries is up 40% from 2019. So a lot of people are lending books out, ebooks, as libraries are closed and things like that. So they are absolutely looking to expand. Libraries are looking to expand their digital books because their wait lists were super long and everything like that. So getting your book on Baker and Taylor for ebooks and Overdrive for ebooks is a great way to sell your book into the library market. In the meantime, Amazon advertising is one of the best ways to drive traffic to your book listing on Amazon, which is one of the, if not the largest, e-consumer platforms in the world. So having your book on Kindle and having it available on Amazon advertising is huge, and certainly where a lot of people's sales come from. So that's important. Just know that you can do both unless you do Kindle Select for Kindle Unlimited, which makes your book exclusive to Amazon in ebook only. So if you're doing Kindle Unlimited, you cannot go in and do drafted digital for Baker and Taylor and Overdrive. But if you're not doing Kindle Select for Kindle Unlimited, you absolutely can. You can put them on both platforms and use them both. And you can also use Amazon advertising even if you don't put your ebook up. You just have to have either the print or the ebook on KDP in order to do advertising. The name of the library report is, I had it pulled up just a second ago. Give me a second here and I will just drop it in. The name of the report, it comes out every year during National Library Week, which is this week. So yay, libraries, go show your library some appreciation. Tell them thank you because they've been amazing this year and every year. But the name of the report that comes out every year is the State of America's Libraries. And it comes out every year. It gives us a lot of stats, data, and info. This year, it was a little bit different. It was kind of cool because the whole market was different. As it says in the beginning of the actual report, nothing this year was business as usual in 2020. And so trying to give reports that are similar to past years, it just doesn't work. I mean, as far as who visited libraries, what percentage of voters came, and it's just different this year. Of course, people didn't go visit libraries. There are still many libraries that are not open physically. It's still curbside pickup, it's still digital, it's still ebooks, but our libraries have shifted and done such a beautiful job of continuing to serve the community. And so that's what this report focuses on. There are some actual, like there's some stats, there's some, but there's also a lot of amazing stories about how different library communities really pivoted, what they're doing now, what they need, the kind of things that they're looking for. You can glean a lot. It's like a 25-page report. I just dropped the link in, but you can also find it at ala.org under the news tab. And I highly recommend. It's a great report. We like to read it every year. It's got, again, a lot of great information in there. All right. All right. Vicki, I'd love to help you, but once again, that's one of those things. If you email me, I will be happy to help you with that. But excuse me. That is one of the things when we're talking about a specific book on Amazon. I know you're on Anomaly with your book, and we've tried to reach out a couple times. It may be that you need to just remove your book from KDP print and take it down and allow Ingram Spark to sell the book over to Amazon for that one book in particular, so that they stop trying to charge so much for it. I think it's so weird they're doing that, by the way. All right. If I use Ingram to upload, do they format for print? Do you have an inexpensive print formatter, or can I do it myself? Print formatting is something you can absolutely do yourself if you have the time and patience to learn. Most professionals will use InDesign, which is an Adobe product, to format their print books. However, it will take you time, it will take you patience learning. If you would like it done and you don't necessarily want to sit there and learn it, there are programs such as, this one's for Mac. I want to call it Velour. Guys, I'm losing my mind. Vellum. Thank you, Caroline. Here's my brain and it's just mush. Vellum for Mac you can use. There are a couple different programs that you can use for it. Just know, again, it's not, I'm going to put my Word document in and it's going to spit out a perfectly professional looking book. You still have to have an idea of what you're doing. You have to know what you're going for in the market. You have to learn the system, and then you have to use it. So absolutely, you can get a system and then do, if you've got 10 books and it's worth your time to sit there and learn so that you can do all of those books, sure. Some people will tell you you can format right in Word, and you can, but those books formatted in Word, it just doesn't have the professional tools. It doesn't have the professional tools to format a professional book. So you can, but it's not highly recommended. Usually InDesign is much better. And Caroline's telling us Affinity Publisher is a competitor to InDesign, but it only costs $50 for a lifetime access versus the monthly Adobe fee. So that may be something to look at as well, Affinity Publisher. Thanks, Caroline. All right. Let me see. All right, you guys, if you've got questions, continue to drop them in the Q&A. I'm going to go over to our emailed questions because we had quite a few of those. All right. Jacqueline's asking about BookFunnel and is it worth it? It really depends. Are you going to use it or not? If you are using it, I think we kind of covered this last week. The cheapest program's $20 a month. Most authors will benefit from the step up, which has email integration, which is 100, or email integrated in is 150. So if you're going to use it, absolutely go for it, but go check it out, give it a look. You can build your lists and things on BookFunnel as well. And let me see. All right, and if you are tagging onto the question about Amazon reviews, if you're looking for book reviews, can you get those from online reader groups? Yes, but you must do it tactfully. There are many, many, many reader groups on Facebook that you can join and you can be a part of, where they read books and they talk about them. It's like a book club discussion. Just know that those books are typically very strict about authors self-promoting. They will either have specific days or post authors can post on. In some cases, they will allow you to make a post asking if people would like to beta read or read and review, but it's not a review swap program. So just know that you need to read the rules of those communities first, and you need to respect them. But it is a great way to make connections with readers. And again, there are also writers groups that do the same thing, where you can do that. I would caution against a bunch of review swaps, because that is how you can get banned from leaving reviews, as if there's a bunch of review swaps. The algorithms absolutely notice that on Amazon. Do hashtags work on Facebook? Nah, they're trying to bring them back. Facebook has tried for several years to really be in the hashtag business, like Twitter, like Instagram. It kind of fell flat, to be honest. I feel like with the new, so Facebook's doing some updates where they're changing how groups are seen, how group posts are seen. They're being seen much more, and how personal posts and things like that are seen. They are starting to try to, like, when you click on a post, like if you say that you like something and that person used the hashtag, it will come with a pop-up that says, I think it says more posts with hashtag puppies are cute. So they're trying to bring it back. Do I think it's ever going to really take off on Facebook? Probably not, to be honest. I don't think so, but it doesn't hurt. I would say if you are going to use hashtags, use them sparingly. It's not like Instagram where you can have 30 hashtags and you should use each and every one. On Facebook, one's fine, two's fine, but don't do more than that. I don't think, again, it's not going to be your main source of traffic. Communities, groups, that kind of thing will do much better for you on Facebook in particular, because it's why people come to Facebook, is for that kind of group interaction, or, you know, personal interaction. All right. How long does it usually take for libraries to order once they receive an email pitch? Well, it can take a long time. The truth about libraries is that sometimes they have discretionary funds and they'll go order right away. Some will even order on Amazon. But more likely, when you're talking about libraries and how quickly they order, they are very slow moving. Well, we are talking, it could be right away. It could be a month. Some libraries will order every month. Some only order every quarter. Some have to put a list of books that they want on a list that then gets approved and sent to the buyer, who then will approve it or not, and then order the books. Obviously, that process takes time. So library sales can happen anywhere from immediately, or the week of your reaching out to them, all the way up to 3 or 4 months later. Very slow moving, and because they're ordering wholesale in most cases, or they're just, you know, clicking and ordering, unless they tell you that they ordered, you won't really know. You can, of course, go on to worldcat.org and search your ISBN and see if anyone's cataloging your book in libraries. Just know that just because they're not cataloging the book on WorldCat does not mean that they don't have it, that it's not circulating. That's just a bar that we can use to get an idea, because a lot of libraries do use WorldCat, but again, not all of them. So libraries are a long game, but keep in mind that libraries have so many people, on typical years, they have so many people coming into their buildings, browsing shelves, finding new books, finding new places, leaving reviews. I would actually say that if you're on Goodreads is, in my opinion, a huge hub of library readers. So if you're working a lot on Goodreads and doing Goodreads giveaways and things like that, reaching out to libraries just makes sense. They kind of go hand in hand. Now there are exceptions, of course, but in general. So libraries are a long game, but they promote your book. As long as your book is on the shelf, you can get new readers that way. And of course, you can sell your book into libraries, which is a huge market. Especially, again, you guys, this year, ebook lending is up 40% from 2019. So getting your ebook into Overdrive, unless Kindle Unlimited makes sense. For example, I have a client who has a historical Civil War saga. His book on Kindle Unlimited makes sense. Pitching his paperback to libraries perfectly makes sense, but Kindle Unlimited with that series makes sense. We did a promo recently where we gave the first book away for free, and then he's got books 2 and 3 on Kindle Unlimited and book 4 coming out this month. And his interactions, his sales, his Kindle page reads have skyrocketed, which I don't think we would have gotten the read through if we didn't have it all on Kindle Unlimited. That makes sense. That's worth not having it on Overdrive, but you have to be strategic about it. Yeah, so there have been a number of bills, of relief bills, either COVID relief or different type of relief bills that have helped libraries for sure. In some cases, they will help purchasing budgets, but when you look at the information, when you look at the reports and how the budget cuts really affected libraries, in many cases they were cutting personnel, they were cutting back on hours. They still, in many cases, libraries sacrificed a lot to still purchase new materials to keep programs running, and it was the personnel that really sacrificed. So will it help some with purchasing budgets? Yes, but I think what we'll see even more is we will see that relief help our libraries keep our librarians working so that they can help people find our books, and so that we have people to talk to when we pitch for purchasing, and cataloging librarians and the programming librarians who do author chats and all things like that. I think that's where we'll see the most impact, because the actual budgets for purchasing were in certain ways certainly tightened up, but they never went away. And there are several relief things that are going out. The American Library Association report talks about that as well. Some of the relief that libraries have gotten, some of the things that weren't passed, but also some of the things they're hoping for going forward. In ebooks, does the index work? Not in the traditional sense. You have an index. Typically what it is a ebook formatter will hyperlink to your index. So rather than telling someone a page number, because page numbers will be different, especially in a reflowable ebook. So keep in mind, a reflowable ebook means that you are able to make it bigger or smaller and change it according to your reader preference. So I can make my text go from a 10 to a 20, and that's obviously going to change the page number. So page numbers on ebooks is not very common, but hyperlinking back to chapter headings, certain spots in the book, that kind of thing is very popular. And that's how indexing is typically used in an ebook. I'm so stuffy. Spring has sprung in New York, and it bashed me in the face, I'm afraid. I'll take it though, because we had 70-degree weather, and it's going to be 80 here on this weekend. And I love it, because I grew up a beach girl, so I love the warm weather. Let's see. I had someone call me wanting to order a book. I stumbled as I wasn't prepared or wanting to take the person's credit card over the phone. I took their email address and sent them a link to my online bookstore. I'm wondering if I lost a customer as the person may not feel comfortable ordering online. Any recommendations for taking phone orders? David, my friend, if you would hop in the chat, was this just was this a friend? Was this a random person? Was this the library? Who was contacting you? Because that may change my answer, to be honest. If you are, local historical society museum. So here's the thing. When someone like that calls you, I think you should always have a plan. I am one of those people who will fly by the seat of my pants, but I also like to have plans, and I like to have many plans, and I think our books are one of those things that we should plan for. Excuse me. And so when you are thinking about phone orders, I think there are a lot of people who are still pretty iffy about being willing to put in a credit card into the online system, or who more often, they don't know how to do it. They're fumbling and they don't want to take the time. So if someone wants your book, what I would do is always, we do this at New Shelves quite often too, if someone is struggling and they call you and want to order your book, either offer a local, if they're local, well, I would love to come drop it off, meet you, and I can take cash or check or whatever it may be. That's a great way to actually meet them, to build some rapport. Or you can, oh, it wasn't, sorry, it said local historical society museum, so I thought it was local. If it's not local, what I do is, no problem, let me take that for you. I go on to my own online store and I complete the transaction as them. That way it's done in the systems I'm comfortable with. It ships out easily. There's no problem. Of course, I say I would be happier on this credit card. Do I have permission? And I go through the steps. And I even will put when I ask for an email, I'll put the receipt in their name and I'll say, you know what, my credit card system will be emailing you a receipt. That way you are helpful. You are getting that sale, but you are giving the customer what they want, because sometimes people simply, they struggle with online systems and payment systems. So just take it for them. And that's what I would recommend. Now, for anyone who's saying, well, I don't have a store, I don't have a way to do that. A really great thing to keep in mind is just using PayPal, setting up a PayPal. So if someone's comfortable paying online, but you don't have the book available directly, you can easily send a PayPal invoice and have it done that way. And then they can pay with PayPal or credit card. Or you can set it up to where you have a payment page and you just take their credit card and submit it to the payment page for them. Both ways work, and that is certainly a way to make sure that you are not missing any sales and that you're meeting customers where they're at, making it easy for them to buy your book. And certainly if it's going into a historical museum or something like that, that's a great way for, they're essentially buying your book to kind of promote your book, which is awesome. All right. Yeah, absolutely. You take the card number and then do it. And a lot of times I'll say, great, let me do that on the phone, make sure it goes through. You can take the number. I never write credit card numbers down. And here's why. I don't want to one day realize that I wrote someone's credit card number down with their number on the back and their expiration date and all of their information, and then somehow I didn't shred that piece of paper or something. I don't want to be responsible for that. So I always take it over the phone, do it with them on the phone, and then I can say, great, your credit card has been processed, your receipt is in the email, and you'll receive that soon. Just because I'm a little overcautious of not being responsible for, writing down people's credit cards. And I've been between sales and marketing, I've been taking credit cards for years over the phone, and that practice has served me well. In ebooks, does all the front matter stay in the same order? Yes, typically it does. Typically you're just taking your PDF, your finalized PDF, and you put it into an ebook. There are some slight stylized changes, but overall it's pretty much the same, Pam. All right, Draft to Digital has not been able to get my ebook on Overdrive or Hoopla. I switched from Published Drive to Draft to Digital because they failed to get ebooks on Overdrive and Hoopla. Draft to Digital said Overdrive has a storage issue and that's why they're stalled. Now Ingram is claiming they can't get ebooks on Overdrive or Hoopla. Let's talk about this. This is not their fault. They are the bearer of bad news. Especially when you're getting multiple platforms saying that they're having problems with ebooks, guys, not their fault. It's what's happening is Overdrive, Hoopla, these are library systems. Let's keep this in mind. Not only do they, so Overdrive, of course, owned by Kobo and all of that, but then they're pushing it out to the library systems. And if library systems are backed up, they're backed up. In many cases, Draft to Digital, Ingram, Spark, Publish Drive, all of these places are a platform, and all they can do is take your information and push it out to the appropriate spot. If those websites, if Hoopla, if Overdrive are not currently uploading, if they are having issues, Draft to Digital can't do a thing. Do know that Overdrive, Hoopla, even Baker and Taylor for ebooks, those systems tend to be very, very slow. It could take a month or more to get your ebook or your audio book up on these platforms. They are inundated and they don't update as much as vendor sites do, as sites that are selling constantly like Barnes and Noble and Amazon. They just don't. So I would, number one, make sure there's nothing in your book or your book file that is being flagged. And number two, if it's a matter of just patience, hang in there. It will happen. I have a client that when we put her ebook up for Overdrive, I think she must have asked me every day, is it up yet? Is it up yet? And I'm like, girls, just wait. And it did eventually go up and it was brilliant, but it took a while. And so just hang in there and it will get up eventually, unless you are flagged for something, if there's a reason that's not working for you. Let's see. Yep, Squarespace is another way that you can take payments for individual sales as well, especially if you're doing like book fairs, back of house, that kind of thing. Would you say PDF is the best way to use Draft to Digital? Nope. I would say that if you're using Draft to Digital, I would say if you're using Draft to Digital and you need to upload your ebook, I would encourage that you have a formatted EPUB file or you use a Word document. Those are probably the two best. They do have formats. They will auto-convert your Word document into an ebook. Just make sure you check it. It's an auto-conversion. So if you have a complex book, if you have images, if you have graphs, excuse me, if you have anything like that, no, it may not convert well, and you may need to either convert it yourself or get a formatter to convert for you into an EPUB file, which is all we will need for reflowable ebooks soon. How do you know if your book is on Overdrive? Go on to overdrive.com, search in your book name with the author name, and you can see. So let me see if I can. All right. I've really gotten very brave with just going live, so why don't we share and I'll show you guys. All right, so this is just overdrive.com and I want to see if a book is here. So let's do The Secret Life of Evie Hamilton, and I'm just going to search it. And look, it's totally in here. And so you can look and see if it's in here. We can see that I like this because you can see the book means it's the ebook version. The little headphones means that they're carrying the audio. And of course, there's a narrator as well. So you can see that information. But it's got the ebook and then it's got the audio, and it'll show. If it's a book that you're not sure, just check it. Overdrive, now keep in mind, Overdrive will show the book even if no one has bought or stocked the book. So if we have a brand new book that just made it over to Overdrive, it'll show that there's no one carrying it. But if someone's carrying the book, if a library is carrying the book, then they have this, see, sorry, no libraries found. And so we can search for it, and look, it is in fact being carried, just in libraries that are a little bit further from me. So it's being carried 35 miles from where I live. And so it does tell you that you can do that. And you can view it on their site, or it'll say, you know, maybe it says there are none yet. In which case I can go to my library and I can request it. Or if I'm an author and I have friends in library systems, I can say, hey, would you be willing to go ask if your library carries my book? And if not, would you ask them if they would consider getting it for ebook? So that's certainly a nice way to get your book into libraries, is patrons asking. So that is Overdrive. All right. Yeah. A lot of people, and I know sometimes you will even see, let's say you're using Draft to Digital, you will see that Draft to Digital will say it's published, or and you're like, it's still not on the site. Yeah, sometimes it does that. Sometimes they'll say it's still publishing, and it is on the site. They don't always sync up perfectly, so just go check it out and go look for it. That's an easy way to do it. All right, back to our email questions. Hi, Tara. Happy Friday. Let's see. Email questions. Helps if I go to my Free Advice Friday box. Oh, yes. So Lynn had asked a question. I love this. Lynn has a book that has done really well. And it's a nonfiction book that's done really well. It's carried by a lot of libraries and in many different languages. So way to go, Lynn. I love it. And it's called The Iodine Crisis, for anyone who wants to go look it up. But Lynn got an offer for a Kindle deal. And so she was kind of wary of it and wondering if it's actually a good deal or not. So every once in a while, if your book is in Kindle, you will get an email from them. Many people think it's spam. And I always say go directly to Kindle if you're wary. But so they will email you and say that your book's being considered for a Kindle deal. And if it's selected, it would be featured on Amazon. Whatever. So it's either Amazon.com, Amazon.in for India, Amazon.au. Just because it's a Kindle deal does not mean it's on every platform. They may only have certain Amazon sites that it goes up on. And they give you a broad range. The deal would run some point. The deal would run at some point between May 1st, 2021 and July 31st. So they give you like a pretty big range. Amazon handles the price updates for this period. And if you would like to do it, you have to respond and say, yeah, I'm totally into that. It's a really great thing, and I'll tell you why. Because what's happening is this is Amazon saying, hey, your book is popular enough, it's getting enough attention, it's getting enough sales that we want to promote it for you. But in exchange, you have to be willing to discount your book. Sometimes they'll give you a price range, sometimes they'll give you a specific price. Typically, it's anywhere between 99 cents and $2.99. And then they will discount it for you. You'll get a lower royalty, of course, but then they will push it out as a Kindle deal and they will promote it for you. So it's kind of like going for a BookBub, only Amazon's searching you out and they're doing all the work for you. And it doesn't cost you anything. You just have to discount your book. Huge win, in my opinion. I've had a couple of clients get Kindle deals. Many of the big name publishers that have the top 5 publishers or bigger imprints will get these often, and I've worked with authors a lot who get Kindle deals, and it's always awesome. But there are a number of terms that sound a little bit scary. So let's talk about those. When it says terms you're agreeing to, it talks about the start and end dates remain at their discretion. They can, anywhere within that period they give you, they can pick any promotion date they want. Start and end date times could be approximate. So they could tell you, hey, the Kindle deal is going to start July 1st at midnight, and it doesn't start till July 2nd at 7 a.m. There's some wiggle room. They're covering their backsides to make sure that if they started a little bit differently, then they tell you they're covered, but it will be within the window. The list price of your title selected for a Kindle deal must remain the same for 30 days before, during, and for at least 7 days after the Kindle deal. This is what they're saying. They want to make sure that when they offer your book for a Kindle deal, that you haven't just run a BookBub or a big promo or something like that. They want to make sure that they are not promoting a discount book that's already been discounted. So they want, for that whole period, for your book price to stay the same, which most of us aren't changing our book prices all the time. Excuse me. I swear it's not the vid, and I'm fine. It's just allergies. Anyway, this is why we meet on Zoom, right? So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to mitigate promoting a book as discounted, as a special deal that's actually already been changed in price recently. It also states that books that are included in Kindle Countdown deals or free promotion 30 days before the start of the Kindle deal will be ineligible. Same thing. If you've just given your book away for free, well, then Kindle's deal is no longer such a deal. It's actually not even as good as what you recently did. So they're trying to make sure they keep the integrity of their program. The Kindle deal is subjected to change. Of course it is. Of course they're going to put that in because they want to be able to change or say, never mind, we actually read through your book and found a ton of proofing errors or something. They want to have ultimate say in being able to be like, oh, never mind. And if you represent another author by agreeing to participate, you also confirm that you are authorized to agree on behalf of the author. So that's in saying if Lynn sent her Kindle deal to me, Bob, you're so funny. So if it's a Kindle deal and Lynn sends it to me and I'm like, yeah, I'll go fill it out for you. I'm saying that, yes, I'm authorized to do this and I'm not acting without her permission and know-how and knowledge. So that's all it is. I think being promoted by Kindle deal is a great thing. Just know you won't be able to play with your pricing or do ebook promotions around the period that they have specified. So you'd pretty much be out of doing any ebook promotion from the beginning of May until the end of August. That's all. But if you're not doing a lot of that, if you're not changing your ebook prices a lot anyway, no big deal. I'm not allergic to my puppy, but thank you, and he will stay right here. He's actually hypoallergenic too. No, we have had literally in the last 2 weeks, the weather has gone from 70 degrees to snowing 3 times now, I believe. And so it's been brutal, but all right. I think so. That was a big email question. We've got one more question. All right, Wendy. How do I get editorial reviews up? Do I go into Author Central to do it? Yes. So when you are doing editorial reviews for Amazon, that does go through Author Central. Ooh, I just made that super big. It goes through Author Central for your editorial reviews for sure. It's not hard to do. You actually have to go into your book and then you go into your book and then you go into editorial reviews. So give me a second here and I'm going to see if I can find an image for you. All right, let me share my screen again. I'm going to drop this in here. I just dropped in a link to an article I wrote this year all about Author Central, how to use it, and it actually talks about editorial reviews. So it actually talks about step-by-step how to get your editorial reviews up. And keep in mind that if you have a review from Publishers Weekly, Kirkus, things like that, they post publicly to their own website. They do not push it out to your book sales page. You have to do that. You have to go physically put it on there. Ingram Spark has a spot for editorial reviews that will then push out to places like Barnes & Noble. You can also submit directly to the Barnes & Noble website to have reviews put up if they are true editorial reviews. Amazon goes through Author Central. There is a spot in the setup, I believe, of Draft to Digital. ACX is the same thing. ACX you can claim. So ACX is the Amazon audio exchange. And so when you have an Author Central account, you can claim your audiobook, but you cannot change anything. You can't mess with your description or endorsements or anything through Author Central. Everything has to be done through ACX for that. But let me share my screen here. All right, so this is right on Nest Graphica. This is where I did the, this is where the Author Central blog is at. So when you're on Author Central, you go to the Books tab, which we can see right here, and then you pick the book that you want. Once you pick the book, you have to pick the edition. You have to put up editorial reviews on every format. If you have Kindle paperback and hardcover, you have to submit those reviews on every single format. It's kind of a pain, but it's what we must do. So you pick the format that you would like to work with, and then you hit the Edit Book Details button. Super easy. Oops. All right. The struggle bus is so real. I've got a chat, so I'm trying to check the chat. All right. So Edit Book Details. Once you do that, yep, you can. Audiobook listings. All right, once you do that, you get to this page and you see this lovely spot where it says review. You hit edit and then you drop in your editorial reviews right there. The formatting system is super easy. It's like a Word document where you can highlight stuff and put it in italics or bold, that kind of thing. Simple HTML can go on right here. So you can edit right in there, and that is where you put your reviews. Then you go on and you save it. So you can see here we're adding a review and it's got this formatting thing. So easy. And there you go. And then you have to do it for each format of the title. Super duper easy. You've got this, you can do it. No problem at all. And if you are on Ingram Spark, again, there's a spot for editorial reviews. If you're on Draft to Digital, a spot for editorial reviews, but you must post your own reviews. Review sites like Kirkus, Publishers Weekly, Library Journal, they will post it to their site and you're then allowed to quote them, but you have to put it up on all of your book sites. They don't do that for you. So if you've got a review from any of these editorial places, absolutely go put it on your book listing because it can only help you on Amazon, and also certainly on Ingram Spark as you're getting out into Ingram Wholesaler and pitching to bookstores and things like that. If you have a Kirkus review, that matters a lot to libraries. If you have a Publishers Weekly review, that matters to bookstores. Midwest is received well by libraries. Library Journal is received well by libraries. So get out and do that for sure as soon as possible. All right, you guys, I think that was all the questions. Forward reviews, same thing. Forward reviews are can be used for both bookstores and libraries. Bookstores tend to pay attention to forward a little bit more in my experience. Do bloggers count as editorial reviews? As long as they didn't leave an Amazon review, you can quote a blog review. Yes. Yeah. He is cute. All right, you guys, I think that's it. Let me check Facebook to just make sure that I wasn't ignoring any questions over there. I don't think so. Nope. All the puppy stuff. And I would pull him up to show you guys again, but he's napping now because he's a puppy who needs lots of sleep and attention and love. All right, you guys, that's it for this week. We will be back next week for Free Advice Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I hope you join us. If you have questions and you know you won't be able to attend, just email them to us. You can email them to questions with an S at freeadvicefridays.com. When you email them in, we do our best to answer them live, and then the replays go up on YouTube on Mondays. So if you go to youtube.com/newshelvesbooks, you will find all of those replays, and you can watch and get your questions answered, even if 10 a.m. Eastern is not the best time for you to join us. So I hope you do that, and until next time, bye guys.